we're going to use the edge surf command. And I'm not expecting it to work the first time, but let's go ahead and see. 1, then our second line is that, our third line is this, and then our fourth line would be that. Wow. Okay, and I spoke too soon. There you go. You can see what it did. It pretty much wrapped a blanket over that surface, and that's looking pretty cool right now. So let's go ahead and see if we can mirror that. Okay, and to use the mirror command, simply head over to your right view. We're going to need some kind of reference line, so I'm going to use the line tool, line, enter, and draw in a line from the top of it, a relative top to it, to the bottom. And then I'm just going to kind of continue it just a little bit using that reference so you can kind of see where the midpoint is. Then I'm going to use the mirror command, enter, select this, enter, and then use this line as my reference. So I clicked on the bottom. Now I'm going to click on the top, like that. And I'm not going to erase the original. And there we go. We can see how it looks like. It does kind of look like there's a little bit of a gap to it, which is totally fine. I'm just going to look at it straight at it like that. Then I'm going to use the move command, enter, select this object, enter, and then I'm going to grab it from this point and move it over to that point. Okay, so I just moved it into place. Now that's looking good. And let's go ahead and turn on the rest of the hull and take a look. Cool. Awesome. The only thing I notice is that there's a slightly larger gap on this side versus that side. So, if that is something that's bothering you and you want to change, just turn off the hull, go over to this view once again so that you're facing right at it, and then find something you can use as a reference. So I'm going to select that, use the move command, enter, and then I'm going to select that point and move it over to that point or something, or move it closer so that it matches up the way you want it to match up. And then turn it back on, see how it looks, and move on, so on and so forth. Okay, and the last thing we need to do is add in the top deck of our boat. So let's go ahead and do that. First, let's create a new layer by heading to Layer Properties, right-clicking on this open space, New Layer, and let's just call this Sail. That will be the top part of the boat. I'm going to change the color to a light green, press OK, and then close out of that, select that, and switch over that to the sail part. So it looks like that. Once that's been selected, go ahead and turn it off, because if we're just drawing the top deck of the boat, we don't really need to see the sail at that moment. And let's also grab the XYZ, hover over the center, switch it back to world view, and once it's on world view, click on it again and move it over to the center of the boat, like that. Okay, that's looking good. Let's go ahead and do this. We need to draw out half of the boat. We're going to use the polyline tool, P-line, press enter, and then start by clicking on the top of the boat. I'm going to look at it from a top-down view, right-click, go to arc, right-click, go to second point. And now the closer you are to hitting each of these vertices, the more smooth the shape of the boat's going to be. So you can see I'm kind of hitting every single one. It's up to you if you want to go through the entire thing or stop at a given point. I'm just going to go to make sure at least I have the top portion of the boat done. Okay. So I'll probably get one more at this point, right about there. And then I'm going to right click, switch over to the line tool. I'm also going to turn off the hull layer. Okay. Because in reality, we don't need it right now. We just need to see this part. And you can also kind of see like those were probably some remnant lines. Not a big deal. We'll get rid of those in a second. But I'm going to hover to the center point to get that tracking. And actually, I'm going to turn on ortho mode as well. So that actually helps out a significant amount. Okay, so one right there, and then one right there. Okay, so we drew that out. We're going to press escape a few times and delete these lines that are no longer needed. And because it's a polyline, we're going to have to add in 3 breaks. So I'm going to type in break, enter, and let's start with this one. So I'll just click there. It doesn't really matter where, but click at, enter. Then I'm going to press enter again to activate break. Click on that one, press at, press enter. So there's a break there, and I'm going to press enter one more time to activate the break. Select that line, press at on the keyboard, and press enter. Okay, so we should have 4 lines. I'm going to use the edge surf command one last time, and I'm going to select my 4 lines, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if you did it correctly, it should create the mesh. If it's too detailed for you, you're more than welcome to reduce the surf tab vertices so that you have less of a meshy substance. And then let's go ahead and mirror this, mirror, click that, select the object, enter, and then I'm going to turn on ortho mode actually and draw that out just like that, and no. So there we go. Let's add one last layer. Right click, new layer, call this top deck, and give it a color. Let's go ahead and say like yellow. Close out of this, select that, and turn it over to the top deck. Okay, lastly, let's head over to a single view. So go to viewport configuration, switch back to single, and now let's turn everything on to take a look at the final product. Not bad, not bad. But there you go. We designed a yacht, or whatever you want to call it, but it's kind of like a boat. So, obviously there's some things you could go around and patch up if you like, but it's pretty good for a first attempt with 3D meshes. So that's going to conclude these tutorials, and if you have any questions, let me know. Peace.